Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I show you how to crochet different stitches in various forms and styles. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to crochet the moss stitch in the round. So in previous videos, I've showed you how to crochet the moss stitch, how to increase and decrease with the moss stitch. And in today's video, we're going to be learning how to crochet the moss stitch in the round. Okay. You can also crochet a granny square moss stitch, but that would be in the PDF guide that I will have linked in the description box below. Okay, so to crochet the moss stitch in the round, you want to grab your hook and your yarn, and then we're going to start by making a magic ring. So I've described how to make the magic ring in the past, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to demonstrate that one more time here. So to create the magic ring, you start by making a slip knot, almost like you want to make a slip knot, but then you don't pull your yarn through, okay? So I just make a crisscross and then pinch that crisscross. And then instead of using my fingers to pull up my yarn and pull through like you would make a slip knot, I will use my hook, insert it into that loop I've just created, and then pull the yarn, that's the working yarn through, and then just hold it in place. And then we're going to make one chain to secure the magic ring. So this is your magic ring. And now we're going to walk into the magic ring to create the first round of our moss stitch. So into the magic ring now we're going to make 10 single crochets. Okay, so insert your hook into that ring and pull up a loop like so. Grab some yarn and pull through both loops on the hook, and there you have just created a single crochet. Okay, mark your first stitch so that you can easily identify it when you walk back. I'm going to make 9 more single crochets, repeating the same process into the magic ring. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here we have 10 single crochets into the magic ring, and now I'm just going to grab onto this tail end and then I'm going to pull it tight to close the magic ring. Okay, so note that the instructions that I'm giving you for the magic ring is also going to apply if you are working um spirals, like if you're crocheting your rounds in spirals, that is without joining. But for this tutorial, we're going to be joining at the end of every round. Okay, so into that first stitch where I just removed my stitch marker, I'm going to insert my hook and then make a slip stitch to join the round. Okay, now let's move on to the second round. So make one chain, and then I'm going to make one single crochet into that first stitch. That is the same stitch I made my slip stitch into. Just going to go to the base of my single crochet basically, and then make one single crochet into that first stitch. I'm going to mark it. Now I'm going to make one chain without skipping any stitch. I'm going to make a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so it is in the round 2 that we are really beginning to work our moss stitch pattern. So chain 1, make one single crochet into the next stitch, chain 1 again, make one single crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, one single crochet into the next stitch, and then you're just going to repeat this until the end of the round. So here I'm on to my last stitch and I chained one before I'm going to make my slip stitch here. Okay, so your last stitch basically of the round should be a chain 1 stitch. we're considering these chain ones as a stitch because you know the more stitch is a combination of single crochet and chains. So I'm counting those chain one as stitches. Okay, so your last stitch of your round two should be a chain one before making your slip stitch into your first stitch to close the round. Okay, to begin round three, instead of chaining one before we start, we're going to make a slip stitch into the chain one space that is next to our first single crochet. Okay, so normally we'll make one single crochet into the first stitch, but for this round three, we're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch. It's almost like we are moving the position of our starting point into the chain one space. Okay, before we're now going to chain one and make two single crochets into that chain one space. Okay, so I'm going to mark my first of those two single crochets. All right, uh before we continue. Okay, so what I did was I slip stitched into my first chain one space, that is the chain one space that is right next to the first single crochet, and then I made two single crochets into that. Okay, now I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to skip over this single crochet, and then I'm going to come and walk into this chain one space, two single crochets. So one and two. Okay, and this is what you're going to repeat for this round. You chain one, you skip over the next single crochet right here, and then you go into the chain one space and you walk two single crochets, one and two. Okay, so chain one, skip the next single crochet and walk two single crochets into the chain one space. And then I'm just going to repeat that until I get to the beginning of my work. When I get to the end here, I'm going to chain one. So that chain one is going to be my last stitch before I make my slip stitch into my first single crochet of the round. And just like that, we have completed the third round of our moss stitch pattern. As you can see that the moss stitch is really beginning to show. The moss stitch pattern is really beginning to show. Those V's, are starting to be more evident. So for round four, we're going to chain one and make one single crochet into that first stitch. Okay, then I'm going to mark that stitch as usual. So now we're going to chain one, and we're going to skip over the second single crochet. You remember we made two single crochets, and then we've already made one single crochet into that first single crochet. So I'm going to skip over the second single crochet and come into this chain one space and make one single crochet. And then we're going to chain one. Okay, so this is the repeat pattern. You walk one single crochet into the first single crochet, then you chain one and skip over the second single crochet, and then you walk one single crochet into the chain one space, and then you chain one. Okay, you are ending your pattern repeats with a chain one. So now I'm going to start again and walk one single crochet into the first single, two single crochets are next to each other, right? So I'm going to walk one single crochet into that space, chain one, skip over the second single crochet and come and walk one single crochet into the chain one space and then chain one. Okay, so that completes the pattern, all right? And then into the first single crochet here, I'm going to make one single crochet. I'm going to chain one, skip over the second single crochet and come and walk my next single crochet into that chain one space and then chain one again. Okay, so this is what you repeat for the for the fourth round of the moss stitch pattern. Like I said earlier, I have a detailed PDF guide where um, I have instructions for everything that has to do with the moss stitch, how to crochet it, how to increase with it, how to decrease with it, and even how to work it in the round. And I also added instructions for how to make the moss stitch granny square. It might not look so much like a granny square right now, but when you alternate colors, you would see how that just looks gorgeous. So this is my last set I'm working here now. Two single crochets and a chain one space. Okay. So into the first single crochet, make one single crochet and chain one. Skip the next single crochet and go into the chain one space and make one single crochet and chain one at the end. So now I'm going to make a slip stitch into my first single crochet, and that is the end of my fourth round. So the fifth round is quite similar. How we start the fifth round is quite similar to how we started the third round. Okay, you remember that the third round we first of all made a slip stitch into the chain one space that is next to it, and that's exactly how we're going to start the fifth round. So make a slip stitch into the next chain one space, and this is from that chain one space now that we're going to start working our fifth round. So after you make your slip stitch, you want to chain one, okay, and then make one single crochet into that chain one space, and we're going to mark that as our very first stitch. And now this round, basically, we're going to be working the normal mod stitch pattern without increasing. Okay, you might not be able to tell much, but we have been increasing in our last few rounds. But this round is just working the mod stitch pattern. So single crochet, chain one, skip over the stitch, make one single crochet into the next chain one space, like that. Chain one, skip over the single crochet, one single crochet into the chain one space, chain one, skip over this stitch, one single crochet into the next chain one space, chain one, skip over this stitch, one single crochet into the next chain one space. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat this till the end of this round. So I'm back to the very end here. I made one chain as my last stitch, and then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the first single crochet, and then I'm just going to close that. We have completed our fifth round of the mod stitch pattern. Okay, so to crochet round 6, I'm going to chain one and make one single crochet into my first stitch. Okay, so chain one single crochet into that first stitch. I'm going to mark that for easy identification. Now I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to make one single crochet into this next chain one space. And then I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to skip over this single crochet and single crochet into this chain one space. Okay, so this is the first step. So we're basically going to repeat we're basically going to repeat this pattern. One single crochet into the first single crochet, chain one into the chain one space, chain one into the chain one space. Okay, so once you are done with that, don't chain one before you work your next single crochet into the next single crochet stitch. Okay, so basically this is where our increase is happening. Two single crochets right next to each other. Okay, so single crochet into the next chain one space, chain one, don't skip, single crochet into the chain one space that is there, and then chain one, and now we're going to skip. So chain one, and now we're going to skip this single crochet and make one single crochet into the chain one space that is there. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this pattern one more time because this is what we're going to repeat throughout, not the first one. We're going to repeat the second instruction that I gave. So one single crochet into the first stitch. Okay, one single crochet one single crochet into the first single crochet. We're going to chain one chain one, and we're not skipping anything, and we're going to make one single crochet into that chain one space. Okay, then we're going to chain one, and then we're going to skip over this one and make one single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so one single crochet into the single crochet, chain one, and one single crochet into the chain one space. Now chain one, skip the single crochet, and one single crochet into the next stitch. And then we're just going to repeat this until the end of our round 6. So for this round, instead of you ending with a chain one space, we're going to end with a single crochet into the last chain one space there, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first round. Okay, so round 7 now is a no increase round. So we're basically going to work the more stitch pattern as usual. So chain one single crochet into the first stitch. I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to just chain one single crochet into the chain one space, chain one, skip the stitch, one single crochet into the chain one space. Okay, chain one, skip over one single crochet and walk into the next one, chain one single crochet into chain one space, chain one single crochet into chain one space, chain one, skip one of those two single crochets that are next to each other, walk one single crochet into the next one, chain one single crochet into the chain one space next to that, chain one, skip over this one, work one single crochet into the next one. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat that all around. Okay, so at this point you kind of understand how I'm working this more stitch pattern, right? I'm increasing on 2 rounds and then no increase on the 3rd round. Okay, so this is how you work it. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I have instructions in my PDF guide and on my blog on how to crochet the more stitch granny square. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope that you have learned something new, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.